Hey folks, how you doing out there? Welcome to another Drink and a Wink info review. A little bit of that, and a little bit of a little more Peatober, where we are talking about peated, mostly single malt Scotch whiskeys. But we're going to talk about other couple other whiskeys along the way. But we were talking about whiskey that is processed, or more importantly, malted using a heat source of peat in parts or totally. There you go. Today is the perfect day to get into peat whiskey here in Chicago. We really had this the first day I've worn something long sleeve outside. And it's chilly. The chill came in quick and it's beautiful. This is my time of year. I love it. Came home today and walked over to get some food, which we're about to eat, and living here in the wonderful Chicago. The day after our protest downtown, I was unfortunately not able to partake. I was helping out, had some family stuff going on. But it was really cool, and I walked down the block to get some Persian food. And on that walk, past this Persian restaurant. There's more of an Indian style bakery on the corner now. Two Mexican restaurants, a Colombian restaurant, Jerusalem Liquors, and then we have some kind of more American style sports bar right all around the corner. And I'm walking around, and Sunday evening, just some nice controlled energy. Really great. Oh, I forgot. I passed the supermarket, and the ice cream. So I'm not even going to say anything's better or worse. I have a lot of options, and maybe that's why some of this is. I'm trying to lose it. I'm doing my best. Yeah, you know what? Maybe you dig hanging out in the areas where every place looks exactly the same, and you got your Olive Garden and your Chick-fil-A. We can't forget that. And I don't know, going off on a tangent. Walmart. I like it here, so that's all I got to say. Pretty cool, warts and all. You show me any location in the country that doesn't have an amount of crime, and I'll say you're not in this country. There you go. You're careful. You go get your food. You mind your business. It's good. I'm not going to give life advice, but that's what I do. We're going to talk about a peated whiskey here, single malt Scotch whiskey. I'm going to try to alternate now as we kind of pull this into the second half of this. I'm going to try to pull from maybe a company that's well known, a brand name that's well known. We just did Lafroig. It doesn't get any bigger than that when it comes to peated single malt Scotch whiskey or whiskeys in general. And then I'm going to bring you something that's a place that's, if not smaller, at least a little less well known. That maybe give you the opportunity to, no promises, but if not, get something a little bit cheaper for the same quality level, same age range. At least it'll be something a little different, and I can give you some different ideas. The one I'm going to bring to you today is a favorite called Ledaig. Okay, yeah, that's it, Darren. It says Ledaig. Why are you saying Ledaig? Well, actually, why are you saying Ledaig? That is how it's pronounced. However, true to form with a lot of single malt Scotch distilleries, you will get a pronunciation on it, and then the Scottish folk, will say it in many different ways. I guess there's different dialects of Gaelic and or Gaelic or garlic. I don't know. Anyway, long day today. Helping out with some friends and family, and I got a little time to play some drums, and I'm cheating while I'm practicing a little bit. Watch that Hawks game. The Blackhawks here are fun to watch again, and I think they're at 500 right now. I think they got their third win. Maybe that's off. I can't remember where it's at, but they had a couple of overtime losses. Looking fun. So I had a good time today. I'm ready to hit the ground running for next week. Ledaig is not from the Isle of Isle or Isla, the island of Isla. This is a rare one on the Isle of Mull. Okay, little backstory here. This is again. Remember that when we talk about single malts, the name does not necessarily have to mean that this is what the distillery name is. This comes from the Tobermory distillery. Okay, Tobermory, and I forgot to grab it. This distillery is probably not one that you know, but I wanted to show you the name of it. Okay, this is a wonderful single malt that was given to Michelle as a gift. This distillery on the Isle of Mull, the only distillery on the Isle of Mull, was actually founded in 1798 by John Sinclair. I'm not going to give you the whole big history here, but they have come and gone, changed hands, and all those kind of things. They've had a single malt. They've had very old single malts, but they were also one of these. This is another example. This is a distillery you haven't heard of, but it's been around a long time. Most likely, they were also making some. They're producing for use in blends, and that is no different here. When we talk about this, this is in Scottish Leader and Black Bottle, which are blended Scotch whiskies that we don't see here as much as we see in Scotland and other areas. But that's what they did. But they also put out a lot of single malts. And I said you can get some very old ones if you're checking that out. In about 2007, they decided to. Actually, the distillery was called Ledaig at some point. It's kind of gone back and forth between Tobermory and Ledaig. And then they decided they were going to put out a peated variety of their whiskey. So to not have confusion, there are many companies that have peated and unpeated. They decided to give it this secondary name that they've had for a long time, and they put out this wonderful peated whiskey. The first one that really came to everyone's mind was the Ledaig 10. Now, this really caught on a couple years ago. I might have named it one of my whiskey experiences of the year. I remember this because I bought this like a couple years ago. I can't remember what year it was, but I bought this bottle like the second day of the year. It's kind of like the Oscars or something like that. If I would have got that towards the end of the year, maybe I would have made it my whiskey of the year. Maybe I did. I can't remember. No, I don't think I did. But I bought it because so many people were giving it a big reviews and big ups and a relatively good value. The Ledaig 10, no chill filtering, bottled at 46.3%. Great stuff. On the nose, lots of green, cucumber, a little bit of seaweed, sea salt, a little bit of brine. Leafy, definitely seaweed. There's some vanilla undertones. There are some nutmeg, clove. Really neat. Now, the interesting thing about this is I don't have a whole lot of experience with the Tobermory, so they're unpeated distillate. So I don't know what this tastes like. So I don't really know those. I know this one, but this is a special one that was finished in a bunch of big old Oloroso sherry cask. I haven't tried a bunch of this, but this is a real nice nose quality on the taste. Little bit of vanilla, a little bit of a sweet note, some citrus, but the peat pops through and is really, really engaging. It's very hard to find one of these companies that is not on Islay. I don't know where they get their peated malt from that has such a depth in here. Towards the end, we get some more ash and some more like char notes. This is just very, 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 very good. This does not have a medicinal note. This leans on the sea, ocean side kind of thing. You can see by the box they're really, giving that to you. But it tastes fresh, maybe a little bit more. Maybe the only thing about this one that I might say is that it's a little bit dull on the side of the oakiness, or maybe I don't know if I really have the taste for this, but it doesn't have a lot of zing from the cask, which you might love. Whereas Laphroaig, and it doesn't have a flinty note. Super tasty. Wow, that's really good. Very balanced on that. So if you are a peated whiskey fan and you might want to try something different, I'm going to say give that one a shot. Now I'm going to give that a little drop of water and then go to the other one. So then along the way, I was hearing about, it was kind of funny, I bought, as I mentioned, I bought this and I bought a Kilchoman Standard Edition. Kilchoman is a real farm style distillery on the island of Islay. And I bought like their standard one, which was mostly bourbon, ex-bourbon cask with a little bit of sherry, and then I bought their other one, and I'm going to bring these to you. That's a big sherry cask. They were great too, wonderful. We'll come to Kilchoman in another video. But then I was kind of like, oh, well, if I have the Ledaig 10, I heard about this bottling, okay, which is the Ledaig Limited. I don't know if this is limited. This is in their core range. It's not limited, but it's called the Sinclair Series, and it's whiskey, peated whiskey, finished in a Rioja Cask. Rioja. I said that 15 times before I started this video, and I butchered it. Rioja is a wine that it's another one of these really kind of punchy big wines that pairs well with, think of red meats and things like that, from what I understand. I'm not a ween? I was saying ween because I was going to say I'm not a wine expert. I need to talk to the Dean of Allocations about that. This is a really pleasant nose. A little bit of fig, dark cherry. But the peat still comes through. This is better than I remember. I'm going to take a little bit of sip of water to get it. This is really nice. Now, this is a no age statement. Don't know what the age is on it. But here's a little trick. Sometimes when we're talking about peated whiskey, if it's all ex-bourbon cask, you need to get some years on, or it's going to be kind of wild. Sometimes, let's say this is 5-6 years. I'm just guessing on that from them. They're not putting 3-year-old just legal whiskey in this bottle. Sometimes when they do a finish like this with a sherry cask or a wine cask like this, red wine, it will give it more age than you expect, because it kind of mutes some of the maybe cask flavors that we're getting. So this one is very different. The peat is a little more resolved and blends in the background. It's a peated whiskey, but it's a refined peated whiskey feel. The smoke notes, I'm taking a big whiff. It's hard to find the peat in that nose, actually, over this very pleasantly pungent wine cask finish here. This is just a winner. Gorgeous. I don't know what else to tell you about this place. Kind of neat. I really would like just to get the regular Tobermory 12, because this is very, very tasty. And it might be an interesting switch from a a Speyside style, that, you know, unpeated, that kind of thing. Really good stuff. Yeah, I don't have much here. It says here that the maturation takes place at the distillery at Deanston, which is surprising. That's a long haul. Maybe that's wrong or old information or wrong information. This is really, really good. The Ledaig 10 was just everyone's favorite 10-year-old peated whiskey for a while. Okay, that revolves around quite a bit. It's like you have the old stalwarts, and then a new company will come around for a while and really be knocking out of the park. This Ledaig 10 with a drop of water. Sometimes on a peated whiskey, I like a drop of water to add to it. It will maybe sometimes accentuate the peat and take out some of the flavors. This one I don't like with a drop of water, the 10. Actually, I think it thinned it out a little bit for me. It's very good. With the water, now a little bit more of banana peel and banana, like the you know, kind of stringy banana-ness is in there a little bit more than normal. And that is also something that I get sometimes with, well, any single malt Scotch whiskey, but sometimes depending on the cask and things like that, I will get that note. Lots of people get that note. It's tasty. The Rioja with a little bit of water. Interestingly enough, that I like because it makes it more fruity. And on the finish, okay, I'm mixing them up, so it's a little bit, on the finish, it gets a lot more intense with the smoke, not in terms of, that water on this really did change things up a bit. So on the 10-year-old, not really all that out of a difference. This is a big difference with a little lot of water. It's just very, very pleasant. The water, I get a little bit more of the oak flavor in here, but so the cigar flavor, a little bit of a tobacco note, seemed to pop. I was rushing this along. I drank this in like 1/3 the time that I normally would take to drink these, especially 2 glasses in a flight. But yeah, that's the Rioja Cask version, the Sinclair Series, has a zing to it that the other one didn't have. I forget what this is bottled at. It's probably also 46.3. Yes, 46.3. This is also non-chill filtered. I don't know if they're added colorant on it. Yeah, so check it out. I know some of our fans, really nice and friendly friends, know the Isle of Mull well. And like I said, this is the only distillery there. I highly recommend the Ledaig as a change from bigger names of peated whiskey. The only thing about it is, like I said, this is owned by Distell. If I didn't say that, which is a subgroup of Heineken and all that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, this one has crept up in price, probably due to kind of, I'm going to start saying tariff reactions, because I don't know if yeah. So they have, that's upped in price a little bit. Scotch whiskey, everything's going up in price. This one is a little bit big, but I will also tell you that, actually I checked, both of these are the same. Right now they're pulling in at about $80, which is a little steep for whiskey like this. But I bought this one on sale, I remember. I think I bought this one on sale, and right now they're both on sale. So check that out. It's kind of interesting sometimes to see. Maybe your store will have a sale, and if you're in the Chicagoland area, I'm talking about Binny's. Boy, that's good. I really want some stuff to change around here a little bit. Partially is just we're not working there as much anymore down in the South Loop area, but I want to go back and shop some other liquor stores now. Not that there's anything wrong with a big place, but yeah, it's interesting. There you go. I'm going to wrap this up. Ledaig 10. Okay, really fine, good, alternative to the bigger names. I will buy another bottle of this when it goes. It's very, very tasty, with hints of no medicinal to me flavors, just nice, good seaside, I air, seaside kind of vibes. A little bit of seaweed, a little bit of brine, a little bit of saltiness. Again, none of this is added, of course. It's just what the peat they're using to their distillate. That's what's happening here. What else did I say? The banana pops through, especially when you add a little bit of water. The Rioja cask, this one is just very good. I don't know, this would be like, if you don't have no peated whiskey on your shelf, I would say maybe get something else. If you're listening to me and you're like, Darren keeps on bringing up this, I'm going to just give you one more little note. When I was drinking peated whiskey, one of my big kind of blind spots was I liked regular peated whiskey that had primarily an ex-bourbon cask as it's aging, maybe a little bit of sherry, but I didn't like sherry. I didn't like peated whiskeys with an actual finish, meaning it's getting dumped into barrels that recently held something. Okay, that happened, that happens in many of the companies we'll talk about. Ledaig does do partial of that, but when they do that, again, it might be 80% ex-bourbon and 20% ex-sherry, and then they blend it. They make their stuff, blah blah blah. They age it for whatever period of time they're going to do it, and then they dump it into empty Rioja cask barrels for some time of aging. That mix of either sherry or some kind of fortified wine or really deep red wine on top of the peat I wasn't ready for it yet, and I've grown a little bit, and really now it's really a flavor that I look for sometimes in this kind of area. Finished peated whiskey. A lot of subgroups. This is a great example of a finished peated whiskey, and if that's something you're interested in, check this out. All right, Ledaig. This is just a really nice little story because again, the Tobermory distillery and the Isle of Mull. There's not a lot else there yeah, it's the only distillery there, so I don't want to get into like underdog stuff. It's just very cool, and packaging is kind of neat. I like it that it's kind of modern, but also has kind of old school vibes too, and their product is very, very high quality. That's it. All right. So that Toblerone is Tobermory. Remember, the distillery started in 1798. They must be doing something right. All right. Next up will be another big name. I'm going to be probably 95% sure the next one up is going to be Ardbeg, which I'll do a little reading on tomorrow and maybe even bring it to you tomorrow. All right, folks, from Chicago, have a good one. All right.